Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Kendra Perry. I am the high energy nutritionist and I am a functional health expert. And welcome back to my Facebook live show. Took a break for a few weeks, but I'm really excited to be here today and talk about a topic that I am super passionate about. So we're going to be talking about why your energy matters for hormones, for gut health, or pretty much any system of the body. Even if you're not feeling fatigue. So I talk a lot about energy, I talk a lot about fatigue, but the reason I talk about energy isn't just because I'm passionate about helping people feel more energetic, although I am, I think that's really important, but for a very important reason. I'm going to get into that today. So basically, when I talk about energy, I'm really referring to deep cellular energy or the health of your mitochondria. So this is going to get a bit nerdy, but you know I like to get nerdy. So basically, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell. So maybe you remember this from like high school biology, right? And it's this little thing inside your cell that actually produces energy in the form of adenosine triphosphate, which is ATP. And that's coming from glucose, which is the smallest building block of carbohydrate, and also oxygen. And then there's a few other things involved. Magnesium is always involved in ATP production, so there are a lot of minerals involved in this process as well. But basically, the cell and the mitochondria, they're producing energy not just to make you feel energetic, but also so that they can basically power your entire body. So it's kind of like the little gas center. You know, if we compare it to a car, we put fuel into our car so it runs. And if we run out of gas, we have to get more of it because otherwise the car isn't going to run. And the same goes for your mitochondria. Your mitochondria needs to be continually producing ATP or your body can't even perform basic function. So a lot of times when I'm talking about energy, like, yes, I want you to feel energetic. I want you to have lots of energy so you can get out there and do the things you really want to do. But I'm also referring to that deep cellular energy. And this is why it matters. And so I talk about energy a lot with my clients or people I'm just speaking to, and they're like, well, you know, I actually have pretty good energy levels. You know, I'm like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I don't feel fatigued. Like, so I don't think this applies to me, but it does because I'm referring to that deep cellular energy. And when we give our cells what they need so those mitochondria can actually produce ATP properly, your body has what it needs not only to run your body, but to heal what you actually have going on, what's preventing you from feeling your best. So this is what it has to do with the hormonal system, the gut system, the brain. All these things are incredibly important for that cellular energy. So I want to help you improve the function and energy levels of your cell so that you can have health in all those systems. So even if your energy is good, but maybe you have hormonal issues, maybe you have PMS or PCOS or endometriosis or just something wacky going on with your hormones, like horrible cycles. Or maybe you're dealing with chronic GI issues. You have chronic constipation, chronic gas, bloating, acid reflux, pain, constipation, diarrhea, any of these things, or maybe you have brain fog. All these things are related to the health of your cell. And if we can give your mitochondria what it needs and prevent the things that are preventing it from functioning properly and give it that really deep cellular energy, a lot of these things are going to heal. So when I'm talking about energy, I mean, I've been talking a lot more about energy lately. Typically, I'm speaking more about hormones and gut health, but I'm still talking about the same thing. If you can provide your cells with energy and with the tools they need for those mitochondria to produce ATP, you're going to see a shift in all areas of your body. And this is really important regardless of the condition that you are experiencing. So everything I do when I work with clients and a lot of the tips I'm giving you, I'm really thinking about those tiny little mitochondria in your cells and trying to make them have what they need so they can function. And that's what this all has to do with each other. So if you have hormonal issues, gut issues, brain fog, brain issues, whatever it is, something's going on in your cell. Like that is the basic, like we think of the hormonal system, but what is the system actually made up of? Well, it's made up of organs, and organs are made up of tissue. And what is tissue made up of? Well, it's made up of cells. So this is health on a very deep, basic, foundational level. So we really want to focus on this. So when I work with clients, this is why I'm such a big fan of mineral testing, because rebalancing the mineral system actually provides your cell and your mitochondria with energy. Working on gut health and running a GI map actually brings a lot of toxicity, a lot of toxins, a lot of inflammation out of the body, which can actually prevent your mitochondria from functioning. This is why I like to talk about heavy metal testing, because metals directly interfere with your mitochondria. They poison certain enzymes that your mitochondria actually needs to produce the ATP and the energy. So all this stuff is very important, and really what we want to do, if you really want to get healthy, we want to nurture those tiny little mitochondria that are giving us energy, that are allowing us to function, but also giving us the energy we need to heal. Because if we want to heal and we want to feel better and we want to stop feeling like a big bag of dicks or balls or shit, whatever, then we really, really need to consider this and think about things we can be doing. So when I work with clients, this is what I do. And then on these videos, this is the information I'm providing you with. So what are 3 things that you can do to boost your mitochondria? Obviously, this can get pretty complex. There's a lot of things we can do. And I think some of the best thing we can do is run testing and get that customized information. But there are actually 3 incredibly simple things that we can do to improve the function of our mitochondria. And this is basic stuff. So really, there's no excuses. I think anyone can do this. So number 1, sunshine. Super easy, right? I don't think enough of us are getting outside and enjoying time in the sun. We work indoors, or at least most of us work indoors. But sunshine is really important, and the research is pretty clear on that. The sunshine does actually increase the function of our mitochondria. So that is a very simple thing that we can do to have more energy. I think that we should all be spending about 20 minutes a day unfiltered, so without sunscreen, exposing some area of our body, preferably your face, your chest, maybe your arms, to the sun, and that can actually increase your mitochondria. I think the sun is incredibly energizing. I'm totally a little sun slut. I love it. I love to spend time in the sun. I love to just get it on my body. It just gives me life. Now, my boyfriend may not feel that way because he's a ginger, so the sun is like his arch nemesis. But even him, I've been convincing him to go without sunscreen, to get in the sun, and expose his skin to sun for at least a short amount of time, and then, of course, to cover up. So if you're getting in the sun, but you are wearing sunscreen, then you're actually blocking those rays from affecting your mitochondria. So I do believe we need unfiltered sun. I don't think we should go out there and get burned. So the amount of time you can actually spend in the sun without covering up really depends on your skin tone. So for me, I'm really lucky. I have Italian heritage. I can spend all day, every day in the sun. And as long as I have that initial base tan, I'm pretty much not going to burn. And then if I do burn, it's a tan the next day. So I'm a freak of nature. Not everyone is like that. There's a lot of fair-skinned people out there, but get out 20 minutes a day. It's not a big deal. I think we all have breaks throughout the day. We all have a lunch break. Get out in the sun. Let it get on your face. Even if it's cloudy, the sun is still coming through the rays. It is still going to get into your body. Even if it's winter, get out there, because even if we may not be getting the sun, because I believe, if you live in the northern hemisphere and you're in the middle of January, you may not be getting that sunshine, but I think there's still a lot of benefit to spending time outside. I derive my whole self-esteem, all my energy and who I am from nature and from being in the mountains and from being outside. And I think we can all do that. I think, you don't need to be badass and go mountain biking or hiking like I do, but you can just go for a walk. You can be outside. You can go for a bike ride. You can do a bit of yoga on your deck. Whatever that is, I think we need to spend more time outside, but we need to be getting exposed to that sunshine, and that can really greatly affect your mitochondria. So an alternative to that, if maybe you live in England, I don't know. I feel like people in England are always hanging out in the rain and they're not getting a lot of sun. Or maybe it's the middle of winter in Canada. I've talked a lot about red light therapy. I own a Joovv light. It's Joovv. And it's near infrared light, which actually is something that comes from the sun and actually greatly enhances the function of our mitochondria. I love this light. It's not super cheap, but it's very high powered. So I only use it for maybe 5 or 10 minutes a day. Typically I use it on my face because it makes me look young and it gets rid of these crazy wrinkles I've got going on right here. But It's really awesome, but if that's not affordable, just getting red heat lamps off of Amazon, I believe they're like $10 a piece. Using that for maybe 15 minutes a day. You can sit under it and read and just make sure it's getting exposed to your skin. That could be a really great way to improve your mitochondria during those times where you may not have access to the sunshine. So that's number one, is more sunshine. We need more of it. Get out in it. Don't be afraid to let it touch your bare skin. Soak it in. It's good for you. Okay. And number two is something I actually haven't talked about a lot, but I find super interesting. I'm trying to learn more about, and something I've been doing a little bit more of lately, and I'm probably going to do an entire live stream on it once I have all the information, but it's cold thermogenesis. So kind of a long word. And basically it's just cold therapy. It involves like getting into something cold. Typically cold water is going to be your easiest. So I know there's people who do like the polar bear swim. There's been some really cool research showing that this can enhance the function of your mitochondria and give you more energy. And you don't actually need to do that much. I've read in some papers that like 20 seconds, 2 or 3 times a week can actually be enough to enhance the function of your mitochondria. So that might mean jumping into a cold lake. I live on the lake and I love jumping into the cold water. Pretty much our lake is fed by glaciers and comes off the mountains. So our lake is pretty much cold for about 10 months out of the year at least. But maybe you live in the east in Ontario, you have warm lakes, so that might not be your best bet, but you can have a cold shower. So I recommend maybe finishing off your shower with about 20 seconds of cold. And it's a bit torturous. It's a bit of like 20 seconds of suffering, but it's only 20 seconds. And I think after a hot shower, it actually helps close our pores. And that sort of variation in temperature, I think, is really beneficial. When I had ACL reconstruction on my knee a while ago now, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And actually, I was given advice to do a cold and hot therapy. So I used to sit in the bathtub, in a hot bathtub, put my knee in the bathtub, and then bring it out and stick an ice pack at it. And then simultaneously, I would watch The Bachelor, eat chocolate and popcorn in the bathtub because I couldn't walk, I couldn't leave my apartment, and I had no life. So that was pretty exciting for me. But anyways, you don't need to do that. You can just have the hot shower and then finish it with that cold therapy. Very interesting research on it, and it's very simple. Like we all, for the most part, I think we all have access to cold water. So 20 seconds, 2 or 3 times a week, you can build that up. I've actually been really interested in some of the work of, I can't remember his name, but he's the Iceman. He's the guy who can sit in like a box of ice cubes for hours and not freeze to death. But I actually bought the online course for my partner for Christmas last year, and he basically like brings people through this training and then has them out hiking in the snow, in a snowstorm, in shorts, and they're totally fine. And he does this through the cold therapy, but also meditation therapy. And it's actually been shown to greatly enhance the immune system, the strength of the body. It's really, really interesting stuff. I would like to go through that entire course. I'm slowly sort of picking my way through it right now, but I think it's really interesting. And I think it can be really helpful. I think there's a few scientists out there who really, really promote it. And I know athletes actually use it to enhance their performance, and it probably has something to do with how it actually enhances the mitochondria. So that's number 2. That's Wim Hof, Chelsea. She's got it. Yeah, that's exactly who he is. Really interesting man. There was actually a documentary that I watched, and that's what made me purchase the course for Ryan. And it's a really great, I can't remember the name of it, but I think it's on Netflix. I'm sure you can find it online, but really, really interesting. Very, very cool documentary. So highly recommend it. So that's number 2. It's cold thermogenesis, basically just cold therapy. And then number 3 is something I've started to talk about a little bit more, and I believe I did a video on it, but that's intermittent fasting. So this is something that I've really been getting into. It's helped me lose weight. I had resistant weight loss for quite some time, and my energy has been really good since I've been doing it. And I actually think it's relatively easy to do because it's not necessarily doing something, it's more the absence of doing something. So it's, going longer periods of time without eating, but within the eating window that you eat, you're eating a similar amount of food, at least kind of close. So I find it really easy because I just skip breakfast. I do a 16-hour fast pretty much every day. Sometimes it's longer. I might get up to 20 hours, especially on my busy days. And then lately I've been experimenting a bit with extended fasting. So I'll do a 24-hour fast maybe once or twice a week. And then every month or two I've been doing a 2-day fast, which has been actually really great. I don't recommend that you start with a 2-day fast, but I think intermittent fasting is accessible to everyone. I just think it involves working up slowly. So, I think a lot of us do a 12-hour fast. So start with the 12-hour fast. So if you eat dinner at 7, don't eat breakfast till at least 7 the next morning. And then you can slowly work up to a 16-hour fast. So I would do it slowly. If you're someone who has really reactive hypoglycemia, this might not be the best thing for you. Definitely test it, try it out, see how it goes. But it's actually pretty easy, and you don't need to skip breakfast. If you love breakfast, you can skip dinner too. I like to eat dinner. I prefer dinner, and it's a more of a social meal. So I don't like to skip it, but whatever works or fits into your lifestyle. There has been some really interesting research on intermittent fasting for mitochondrial function as well. Also a lot of really interesting research for weight loss, but also longevity and just leading to this longer life. A lot of the communities of the world that do have those people who live to 100 and beyond, most of them, there's some sort of fasting involved in the way they live their lives. And I think it's a very natural cycle. I don't really think humans were designed to be eating all day and 3 meals a day. Like, you can only imagine how it would have been for humans before refrigeration. Back in the day when we were hunter-gatherers, like, we did not have consistent access to food, but we survived as a species and became this massive species that we are today. And so I think that was very helpful for us. And I believe the hunter-gatherers were probably a lot healthier than we were. They probably didn't live as long because, infectious disease, accidents, getting hunted by animals, I'm sure played a part in their lifespan. But I think as, general health, I believe they were healthier. And I think the fasting activates a part of us that is very natural and we have within us, but we rarely use it at all, right? Because you can get food anytime, anywhere. So it involves effort. We have to try not to eat. But, what I found with intermittent fasting was that it was difficult at first, but now it's easy. And sometimes I fast for 24 hours without even realizing it because, I'm busy. I drink lots of water. I'll drink my tea and maybe some broth, but I'll just go, all of a sudden I'll realize that it's 7 o'clock and I haven't eaten dinner since yesterday. So then I have a really healthy big dinner and it feels really good. So there's some really interesting research for that. Definitely a good strategy if weight loss is one of your goals. Been seeing some really good results with that in my clients and in myself. So those are 3 things that will help you cultivate that mitochondrial energy. And you should care about that even if you don't have fatigue. Even if you feel like your energy levels are decent, we should still care about energy, because when I talk about energy, I'm referring to ATP, to what your mitochondria makes to help you function better. So we all need to care about that, especially if you have hormonal issues, gut issues, pretty much any symptoms, probably there's something going on in ourselves, because that's the basic building block of our health and of our bodies. So just to summarize, first I talked about sunshine. Get outside in the sunshine, 20 minutes a day, unfiltered, soak it in. The sun is amazing. Worship the sun. It's awesome. Number 2 is cold thermogenesis or cold therapy, 20 seconds, 2 to 3 times a week. Just finish your shower with 20 seconds of cold. Torture yourself a little bit. It's actually really good for you. Highly recommend it. And definitely check out the Wim Hof method. He has a documentary out there. There's one on him and I loved it. It was very interesting. It talked a lot about this cold therapy. And then number 3, intermittent fasting, which of course is, doing these short fasts every day, whether you skip breakfast or skip dinner. The ideal is probably 16 hours, but if you are interested in weight loss, I would challenge you to try to get up to 20 hours. Obviously go slow. That's called the warrior fast. And seen some really cool results for weight loss with that. And also energy. It's greatly improved my energy levels. Okay, so quick update. So everyone who filled out the survey on my potential group program, great information. I'm building it. I'm actually going to create it as a membership. So a monthly membership that is going to give you access to 2 Q&A calls with me a month, probably a monthly coaching call as well. And the best thing about this is it's going to give you access to functional tests at a small fraction of the price, because it's not going to include the one-on-one support with me. You're still going to get your protocol. You're still going to get access to the members area where you get access to all the recipes and resources, and the protocol is going to line out exactly what you need to do. And then if you have questions, you just ask me in the group coaching call. But basically the functional tests in that membership are probably going to be less than half of what you would pay to work with me one-on-one. So I really, really want to make this affordable for everyone. I think there's a lot of people out there who need functional testing. They really want to get to the root of their health issues, but they can't because they don't have the information and they can't afford the testing. So this membership, I'm probably going to be launching it about beginning of October. And for founding members, I'm going to be offering a crazy discount. Probably half price of what it regularly will be for the people who get in first. So stay tuned for that. I will definitely be letting you know on Facebook. If you're on my email list, if you're on my Facebook message list, I'm going to be letting you know. So stay tuned for that. If this is something that you want and you need and you just don't have the money for it, this is pretty much your ticket to get testing for about as cheap as you're going to get it anywhere. It'll be probably cheaper than you can get it anywhere because I'm going to make it as cheap as possible. And I'm also going to make sure you're getting the support you need, even though we're not doing the one-on-one call. So stay tuned for that. I'm really, really excited for it. And think about your mitochondria. It's important. We should all care about our mitochondria regardless of what we have going on. That is why energy is important, even if you don't have fatigue. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I've got lots of you live, which is super exciting. Love having you guys live. And Thursday is the live Q&A. So if you guys have questions, you can submit them to my Facebook page just through messages. You can email my assistant, Sarah, support@kendraperry.net, and submit your question there. And I will make sure to get that answered on Thursday. Okay, bye, everyone.